Man, it has been an insane month. Over the last couple weeks, we have been streaming Swords of Legends Online's closed beta test repeatedly. We've been streaming the new global release of Soul Worker Online, new alphas for the upcoming MMOs. Yeah, if you are not already, then you should totally be following us over on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/MMObyte. We'll be live there in a few hours actually, and we're there every single week at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we go ahead and jump into this video, like always, I'm going to be doing a giveaway of any MMORPG you guys want, whether that's Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft, The Elder Scrolls Online, Swords of Legends Online, Aion. All you have to do is go down, click that subscribe button. Not only is it a huge help for us, because it shows your support, but I could tell if you're not, and this giveaway is only, like always, for our viewers. Then go into the comment section, tell me what game you want and why you want that game, and I will go ahead and announce the winner in the next Weekly Bite of MMORPG news video. It's that simple. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start this off big by talking about Aion Classic. Aion has been trashed for years now. There's really no denying or arguing that point. NCSoft are well aware of this, and to reignite interest in the once popular MMO, they released a classic version to the South Korean player base. This was a critical success, and in an attempt to make even more off of the classic incarnation, they're bringing Aion Classic over to North America as well. This move will take us back to a time when Aion was actually good and one of the titans of the genre, and provided us with some of the best PvPvE anywhere. Unfortunately, it will have a subscription fee much like it did originally, requiring you pay monthly to play it. I honestly have my reservations on employing a subscription-based model in an MMO in 2021, especially if you are not World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14, but I guess we'll see how this works. PSO2 New Genesis is launching next week on June 9th after a year of waiting. In anticipation of this, Sega have provided players the option of downloading the new character creator and benchmark tool, allowing you to not only download the game and create your character ahead of the launch, but to also test performance. Honestly, I was pretty impressed with what I played during the closed beta test, and I cannot wait to get into this next week to test it out. Quick FYI, we will be streaming this on Wednesday as it launches, and we'll be playing on ship too. So if you want to come on over and join us, or join our guild or whatever the equivalent is in PSO2, then I urge you to stop on by the stream. In an announcement that came more or less out of nowhere, Palia, an upcoming fantasy MMO from the developers of World of Warcraft and League of Legends, was just revealed to us. The MMO is going into pre-alpha testing, allowing players to pre-register for the game right now. I have a link to that on our website, MMObyte.tv, which I urge you to go ahead and check out if you're interested in playing the game. The title itself is going to provide players immense amounts of freedom in the form of life skilling, combat, leveling, and will have a narrative that will last supposedly for years. This has been described as kind of like an Animal Crossing meets Stardew Valley meets The Sims, but with combat and deep social aspects. I guess the closest thing that we can compare this to is probably Period Chronicles. This is a Western take on what Period Chronicles was going to be. Now, I just covered this yesterday, so I urge you guys to go on and check that out if you haven't already, but a brand new Digimon MMO was just announced, Digimon Super Rumble. This is an MMO that is built on Unreal Engine 4, set within the Digimon adventure story, meaning that you'll be thrown into the digital world, you'll see Genai, Agumon, Gabumon, and the rest of the Digidestined and their respective Digimon partners. There'll be new story present, new areas, new Digimon, tons of new things to do and see, and I could not be more excited than I already am for this, as I'm about as large a Digimon fan as anyone. Earlier this week, The Elder Scrolls Online rolled out their latest Blackwood chapter, and the launch could not have gone over smoother. This new update brings with it a brand new companion system, providing players a new NPC companion to take with them into combat, so if you're like me and you do not have any friends, you're not forced to tackle the world alone. There's also a new raid, there are new world events, there is pretty much what you'd expect out of a large-scale update like this. According to ZeniMax, there is around 30 hours of story content to partake of, at least on the PC right now. The update will be rolling out on console on the 14th, so next week. Ashes of Creation has had a very busy last couple weeks. On the one hand, the MMO revealed a glimpse of their Siege gameplay, which honestly looks pretty good. Character models and animations, well, I am aware that they are still in the process of being overhauled, still look pretty bad, but everything else, the aesthetic look and feel of the environments, the Siege warfare itself, the PvP, everything looks to be coming along really well. On the other hand, the lead designer for the game, Jeffrey Bard, has left the studio to pursue a career in VR development. While the studio knew about this and had a few weeks to prepare for his departure, it is never a good sign to see the person in charge of game development bail on the studio this deep into the development of their game. Only time will tell the kind of effect this is going to have on the future of the game. Bless Unleashed took to Steam last week to answer some burning questions from the community. While there were some basic questions, one really stood out to me, and that is that there will be no player trading outside of the marketplace. Yeah, player trading, an integral part of playing an MMO, will not in any way be supported unless buying or selling items via the marketplace. Good job, Bless. You're already several steps behind MMOs that launched 2 decades ago, and they are introducing a premium membership for players as well. Hoorah! In other Bless Unleashed news, it looks like the game had its PC launch pushed back for improvements, because, you know, that's not what all of these beta tests were there for. They expect those improvements to be complete sometime around mid-July, but nothing is concrete right now. Apparently, Dreamworld has a fully functional, and I use the term functional very loosely here, alpha for players to participate in. They have had for over a week now. I did a video on this in greater detail last week, and honestly, I was shocked to not only see them release a playable alpha, but by how little was actually present within the alpha. The entire thing was a convoluted mess of random assets dropped down pretty much all over the place, fog to prevent you from really seeing much of the world, barely functional system, like, this was actually hilarious, and I'm kind of shocked to see that there were even people on their Discord that were defending this game. Yeah, that was definitely a thing. Well, I've never personally played the game, and I will definitely need to at this rate. I would like to draw attention to a 2D MMORPG called Key to Heaven. It's a game that has been actively developed by a single guy for over 16 years up until this point. It was finally released onto Steam at the end of April and has seen a surplus of updates and content added to the game ever since. If you're into MMOs like this, I urge you to go ahead and check this out. There have been thousands of players that have actively tried this out since it launched, and it doesn't hurt to try out new things, or at least that's what I'm told. I feel like I'm always so far behind the Skyforge updates. Maybe it's because they just don't really release any info pertaining to the game until the very last minute, where they just pop on out and say, surprise, update, and that's essentially what happened here. The new Hunters of Terra update went live on PC earlier this week, which brings with it the new Bounty Hunter class. And you know what? Skyforge pushes out a serious amount of updates with tons of new classes and areas. I honestly don't know where they really get the funding to continue to do this, or why this game is not more popular. You guys know that I do not really cover mobile games very often, either on the channel or in these news videos, but I feel like I kind of have to here, as Albion Online is a pretty big MMO these days, and Albion Online Mobile launches on June 9th. So it would stand to reason I would let you all know, as when RuneScape released RuneScape Mobile, the game was ultimately very well received, and likewise, this very well might end up being so as well. Now, you do get some pretty sweet goodies if you log in both via the PC client and the mobile client, so I urge you to go ahead and do so if you're interested in any of them. A list of rewards can be found via their website. Patch 1.6 brought with it a ton of new content, as content updates always do. A new island, new bosses, release of the game onto the Epic Games Store. Well, I mean, actually that's coming on June 9th, and let's be honest, who's even going to play this via the Epic Games Store? Yeah, nobody. But the most important update to the game is actually the brand new outfit, specifically Jean. Yeah, that's my favorite Genshin waifu. Yeah, just so much yes. I mean, you know, like Barbara has an outfit as well, but Jean. Now, these outfits can be purchased from the cash shop or earned by collecting items in the archipelago. And you know, there are people that are going to be spending a fortune to unlock these outfits. Say hello to yet another money-making machine inside of this gambling simulator. Not only do they make hundreds of millions from players rolling for characters, they're going to make twice as much from players purchasing outfits for those characters as well. I played Fractured back during one of its earlier alpha test phases, and honestly, it was not a bad game. Definitely needed a lot of work, but it showed promise. Fast forward to roughly about a year later, a lot of work has been done, many new features have been added, and a lot of the game has been improved upon. While I'm anticipating their upcoming summer alpha and will definitely be streaming it, it's worth noting that they are in the process of hiring in new talent to work on the game, which is a sign that the game is moving in the right direction. Almost nothing is known about Ragnarok Begins. It is an MMORPG that was announced via Gravity to people behind the Ragnarok Online MMO and subsequent games. This is going to be a PC exclusive title, but I'm unsure of how it's really going to be connected to the Ragnarok IP overall. A sequel or remake? Time will tell. Speaking of Ragnarok Online, coincidentally enough, Project Ragnarok, the upcoming cross-platform MMORPG, revealed their first full in-game trailer showcasing everything we have to look forward to. Yeah, animation looked a little bit clunky at times, sure. Yes, there were very noticeable FPS issues, but you know what? That is a good sign. It means that this is real gameplay footage, not some pre-rendered garbage to get us hyped for the game with no real substance. The environments look beautiful, the character models look solid overall. If they can fix the clunkiness and the FPS issues, I think this might be a decent game eventually. How long have we been waiting to hear these words? It feels like an eternity since Crowfall was announced, but here we are. Crowfall is officially launching on July 6th. This game was kickstarted back in 2015, and I feel as though we had all long since given up hope on it ever coming to fruition. Since the game is going to be buy to play, I'm genuinely curious how it'll ultimately be received and how it will end up retaining player attention long term, as this is a very PvP heavy MMO in a genre that heavily caters to casual PvE players. If you're still excited for Odin Valhalla Rising even after my recent video on the MMO, then you will love this. The upcoming title is going to be launching in South Korea on June 29th with a Western release soon to follow. We received a trailer to accompany this reveal. For people that want to go ahead and check it out, I recommend navigating over onto the Odin Valhalla Rising YouTube channel. And here is the news that you have all been waiting for, Blue Protocol. I covered the entire live stream last week, but I figured I would consolidate all of the information right here. We got a ton of new screenshots. We got new gameplay footage for each of the classes. We got new footage of the brand new class that was announced. Yeah, there's a new 5th class already added into the game, the Heavy Smasher. There are new NPC companions being added into the game to help you out in the world, in dungeons, you know, real pals. They've confirmed that there are improvements to combat such as dodges, parries, attacks that you can use after performing a successful dodge, and altitude bonuses to damage. They've increased the amount of freedom that you possess over your build, allowing you to be a pure fire mage or to instead spec into a full support mage build as an example. Then we got some really cute additions like the ability to hold hands with other players, even walking around while hand holding, real-time rock, paper, scissors, and a significant number of quality of life changes. Yeah, Blue Protocol is shaping up to be quite the MMO. They also said that they do have a release schedule for the game as well, but they didn't want to confirm and release it to the public yet. And that is it. That is all of the MMO related news that has been brought to my attention over the course of the last 2 weeks. If you know of anything that I missed, go down in the comment section, let me know. Go ahead and contact me via Twitter, via Facebook, Instagram, Discord, wherever you can reach me. Make sure to include a link to the article, and if applicable, I will go ahead and include that in the next weekly bite of MMORPG news.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it.